Hello, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video we are going to be making a pom-pom for this hat, and we're going to be making some tails, and you guys see I still have not woven in this tail, so I'll be doing that, cleaning this hat up, and your fall chunky wavy hat will be complete by the end of today's video. So let's get to it. So things you will need include the yarn that you were using to actually make the hat. So I have this skein in addition to the other two colors, a pair of scissors, this darning weaving tapestry needle. Okay, this would be very important in terms of weaving in those tails. And then this pom-pom maker, I will leave a link in the description to this. I got this off of Amazon, and actually this is the largest size. They have smaller sizes, but because I'm using a chunky yarn and I want the biggest possible pom-pom with what I have to work with, I'm using the largest size. Okay. Also, I apologize if you can hear outside, it's raining quite a bit, so yeah, it's really just kind of thumping on the roof, but I actually kind of like it. It's a perfect day to do some indoor crafts. Alright, so looking at this wavy hat, I think I want to make my pom-pom this gold colored. I know it's technically a mustard. Let's see, Madison mustard. So I think I want to make the pom-pom that color. Originally I wasn't going to make it this mustard color because there's already so much mustard in this, but just bear with me. There's a method to the madness. So I'm going to make the pom-pom this mustard color, and then when it comes to making the strands down below, those tassels if you will, I'm going to use the Portsmouth pumpkin and the Tampa spice. So that's that orange and reddish color for the tails. Okay, so let's make the pom-pom. Alright, so this is how you make a pom-pom using a pom-pom maker such as this. As I said, I will leave a link in the description below to this. I got this off of Amazon. It came in a pack. Alright, so you just pull these two, keeping them together open like that, and you do the same with that, like that, keeping those together. Okay, and just make sure it stays connected in the center. Alright, and now you are going to grab whatever color you want your pom-pom to be. For me, that is this golden color, Madison mustard, which sounds so bad, right? At least I think it does. Alright, and so we're just going to put it up like that, and then we're going to wrap around it like this. Okay. You see how I accidentally went over like that? You don't want to cover that part. You only want to cover the semicircle, okay, with the yarn. So just keep wrapping around, filling up the entire semicircle. And I like big bulky pom-poms. I do. Be sure not to get any there. Keep it behind. Okay. And just continue wrapping till you get it all covered and it's as thick as you want it. See how a little bit caught there? You want to push that down and pull. Alright, that's that side. Alright, so now that we're back on this side, and remember this is where we started. So we started over here, we wrapped the yarn over there, and then we made our way back to this side. What you're going to do is put it in between like that, and then close down like that, keeping them nice and together. Okay, and now we can start to wrap around these two. Okay, so just start to see how I started over there, wrapping around. Once again, steering clear of this area. Okay, so I'm just wrapping around, filling it up. This is going to be a nice big fluffy pom-pom. Remember, whenever you're close to the edges, make sure it doesn't cross like that. Keep that up under so that you only see that surface. You don't see any yarn on it. I'm going to work my way back some to fill up any gaps and also to make this a nice thick pom-pom. And remember, whenever I'm close to that edge, I'm making sure I don't have any that's trying to get over to that flat surface. And if it is, I just pull it back. Alright, now I'm going to make my way back over to the other side one last time. Alright, it's clear. Now I'm going to put that down, and then I'm going to cut this yarn. Alright, so now I am going to use my scissors to start to cut in between here. Okay, so I could move that out of the way and then just start to get in here, put that together and start to cut down the center. And you're going to need some really sharp scissors. Make sure the scissors are very sharp. When you're working with a bulky yarn like this, it's going to be a little bit tough to get through it with your scissors, but that's why it helps to make sure that they're really sharp. Okay? And you want to make sure that you don't see any pieces still attached in that center piece. Okay, so I'm only seeing green, I'm not seeing any of that mustard gold crossover, so I know I'm good. Alright, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Once again, making sure you don't see anything crossing over. Okay, and we can cut this as well. That was just where we transferred from these two greens to these two greens. Okay, so you can cut that. And I'm gonna take one more good look all the way around and make sure I don't see any pieces of that mustard still connected. I don't. Alright, so I'll put that down for a moment and I'm going to cut me a piece of this mustard. Alright, and now let's move that out of the way. I'm going to pull this mustard in to that center section basically. So see how it's there? Just kind of fit it in between there as best you can, like that. Pull it all the way around so that it meets the other one. This is kind of in the way, so just move that out of the way and see how it's kind of like that, right? Once again, pulling through that center section. Alright, and now that I have them together, I'm going to tie a couple of knots. So here's the first knot that I'm tying. One, you can pull it tight. Okay. And then two, that second one. I like to make two knots the majority of the time. And if you want with this extra tail, you can cut that down at this point too. Alright, so now we're going to open this up like that. We're going to open this up right here like that. Oh, look how big and fluffy it is already. Alright, and then we're going to pull these apart like that. Okay, so move this out of the way. Here are the two strings that we left on that we're going to use to attach it to the hat. And then here's that nice big pom-pom. Now you may find that a couple of strands are kind of protruding out, so you can just cut them down so that they are comparable to the length of the other strands. That. Alright, that was easy enough. I only had like 3 of them. But look at this beautiful pom-pom, you guys. Okay? So as I said, you're going to use these 2 strands to attach to the hat. Alright, so we have our pom-pom, we have our wavy cap, and we want to put the pom-pom right up here on top. We have also our 2 strands that we're going to use, so we're basically going to pull these to the inside of the hat and tie a knot, and that is what is going to secure it. So you could use your darning weaving tapestry needle to pull those strands in, but in my opinion it's kind of overkill because the yarn is so bulky that you can really just kind of get them in there anyway. But say you were working with a small yarn, this is what I would do. I would weave the yarn through the tail like that, and then just go through the top like that and pull that in through like that. Okay, and then if I open it up, I'll see, oh, here's the tail. So now that one's in, and now I go back out to the outside, and here's the other tail. So now I'm gonna get this through the eye of the darning needle as well. It helps to kind of roll it tight so that you make it small, and then just kind of roll it through the eye so it's kind of going through there, and then pull it through. Make sure you're not splitting a yarn, so just try to grab as much as possible like that. Okay, so now I'm through and go through. So you see one side is kind of on right there. That one's going through there. I'm going to put this one across from it and do the same thing. Pull through like that. Okay. So this is right here, the first tail I brought in. This is the second one. So pulling up, and you'll see now that the pom pom is secured to the top, right? Yeah. All right. So now I am going to cut these so that the length is comparable. And now I'm going to tie a couple of knots just to secure it. 1, 2. Okay. You could weave these tails in, you could tie more knots, but that's all you really need to do. Okay. And now the pom pom is secured to the top of your hat. Alright, so now let's make the tails, you guys. Alright, so for the next part, I'm going to take all 3 colors, and I've already done this, but I'm going to measure out 30 inches. And for those of you who use the metric system, that's about 76 centimeters. And then I'm just going to cut. So I have 1 strand of each color that is 30 inches or about 76 centimeters. Now, remember, in the hat, that mustard gold yellow color is the color that's kind of getting the spotlight between the pom-pom and these ear flaps, and then just in the body, it's, you know, its presence is well known. So I want to make the tails have more of the other 2 colors, that Tampa Spice and also the Portsmouth Pumpkin. So I'm going to kick the Madison Mustard out of the picture and then measure out just with the 2 remaining colors, the 30 inches, okay? And so I'm going to cut 2 more 30-inch or about 76 centimeter strands of each color, which means I'm going to have 4 more strands, okay? So I'll measure this out to 30 inches or 76 centimeters, cut, and then I'll do it again, okay? So I'll have 4 more strands. And an easy way to do that, if you don't want to use the tape measure, is just to measure them up against what you've already cut, the strands that you've already cut. So just take the 2 colors, line them up, measure them out, and then cut. Alright, so I've already done that twice. That was my second time that you guys just saw, which is why you see a lot more of that red and orange than you do that yellow. JK. I just noticed that I only had 1 of the mustard strand, so I need at least 1 more, right? I don't want to have a lot of that mustard, but I need 1 more because I want 1 strand in each bundle for each side, and I have 2 sides, so I need at least 2 mustards. So that's why I'm cutting a second one. Alright, so now I'm going to split these. So I have orange, red, and gold there on that side. That's for one side. And I have orange, red, and gold for that side. That's the other side. And now I'm just going to make one side more red by putting that red there, so that has two reds, and then one side more orange, and that side has two oranges. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure that these line up like that, and I'm just going to feed it through the center of the ear flap. So you can use a crochet hook if you want, stick it through, and then just kind of do your best to hook these on and pull them through like that. And at this point you only want to pull one side, okay, because you want the other side to stay out here. So I'm going to hold it down there and pull on this edge like that. And now they're like that, so now I want to try to make them as even as possible. And now I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to tie a second knot because you guys know I love my knots. Alrighty. Now I am going to split these strands into 3 sections. And I'm going to braid. Just braid them together. You could twist if you don't know how to braid. That's completely fine. But because I do know how to braid, I'm going to braid. So once it's about like that, I am going to tie another knot. Once again, you can use your crochet hook to kind of help you loop on those strands and to help you get it through. It can be kind of challenging, so I'll just be patient. This crochet hook is not made for, while it's a larger hook, it's not really made for this size, these size strands. So you could try to use a bigger hook that might work better for you for sure. But yeah, just one by one pull the strands through. Okay. See if you're missing any. Like I see this over here, so I know that I'm missing one. Now there it is. I'm just pulling it through now. Okay. So now I got that knot. And then normally I would kind of even them out a little bit, but I kind of like this ragged look, you know. I guess I could cut it down a little bit. Okay. So cut it down a little bit. But yeah, that's that. So that's the tail on that side, and I'm just gonna do the other one the exact same way, and I will meet you there. Alright you guys, so I have put the strands through, tied a couple of knots, and this one I've decided to just twist. So instead of separating this into 3 sections, I'm going to separate it into 2 and just twist the 2 sections around each other. And believe it or not guys, I actually like this look a little bit better than the braid. It's just, it's a different look, and in my opinion it's a little bit neater. So I think I'm going to redo the other side. Okay, so this is what you have, that nice like braided look, which is super awesome. Alright, and then I'm going to still end the same way. I'm going to tie a knot at the end of that. So just wrap it around your fingers and push the tails through. If that doesn't work for you, then just use your crochet hook to get it to the size that you want, and then you can kind of cut these tails down. And that's how it is, you guys, when you're crocheting and you're doing these projects, you'll kind of figure out on the spot what works best for you. But I really like this twisted look better than this tight. I like the tight braid look, but it's just, yeah, I think for this this twisted look just looks a little bit better. And I feel like a lot of people don't do this, so I like that. I like it for that reason as well. Alright, I'm going to undo this one and make it look like this one, and I will be back to wrap up this video. Alright, I've made them congruent, and so now the last thing I want to do is just weave in this tail. And I'm going to show this just to make sure you guys know how to do it. So yeah, just feed the yarn through the weaving darning tapestry needle like you did earlier to get the pom pom secure to the top. Alright, so now that I've got the yarn through the eye, I'm going to just go into the stitches of the same color, and luckily the ear flap is all that mustard color, so I don't have to worry about making sure I go into the right color stitches, okay, since this is a multicolor project. And then I've gone in that direction. Make sure you're not pulling so tight that it's kind of distorting this. If that happens, just pull it out that way, back in the other direction, okay? And now we will go through in different areas in the other direction. It's very simple, okay? Once again, if you pull too tight like that, you can just stretch it back out by kind of pulling, okay? And that's enough for me. So now I'm going to cut this down like that, get it nice and flush against the surface without cutting the flap itself. And just like that, it disappears, okay? So you guys, this is our hat in all its glory, our fall wavy hat with the awesome pom pom and these beautiful tails, okay? Beautiful twisted tails. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I think just looking at it, it reminds you of the fall, like foliage, beautiful fallen leaves, or the leaves that are about to fall. So yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. That's going to be it for this video. You know, I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting.